we need the HR guys to really stand up for employee wellness. If they don't
and
stand up,
not just do transactional stuff.
yes,
Payroll, training.
it's not only about that.
And by the way, most of the toxic employees are the ones that are high performers, but they break relationships, and no one talks about it because she's a high performer. We don't want to upset her.
Guys, get a coach.
How
Get
can
a
we
coach
prepare-
for
get a
your
coach
people.
just to prepare you.
Yes, because someone may be well-meaning, but they just don't know. They don't know how to start having those conversations. But if they have someone to guide them to say,
Exactly.
promotions are
And
coming
it's a
up.
bit different at the top.
It is different at the top.
I think if more and more managers can be more human, and people feel safe to express themselves in the workplace. Hi there, welcome to Sthembiso Phakathi leadership series. This is about getting leaders and change makers that are doing great things in their field. And I'm your host, Sthembiso Phakathi. And today I've been hunting this young lady for a while now, and finally she's here. Andile Ndlovu, welcome.
Thank you.
Good to see you. How do you get to Joburg suddenly? So you said you've been here for how long? A week now?
Almost a week, yeah.
Almost a week.
Yeah.
Wow. I want you to introduce yourself, not about the work you do only, but also where you're from. And I think you and I met, we've been meeting socially for how many years now?
2
3 years?
a while, yeah.
For a long time. We follow one another, yes?
Yes.
And then the work that you do, and then perhaps the arrangement or your history around as a speaker, also as an entrepreneur, as a practitioner, and maybe start there, and then we're going to go ahead with our conversation.
That's the whole conversation. Do you know that?
It hasn't started.
It has.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm Anele Ndlovu from Pietermaritzburg, KZN.
Sthembiso Phakathi.
Sthembiso Ndlovu, yes.
Sthembiso, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
So I always make sure I correct people. Because when you say I'm from KZN, they're like, oh, you're from Durban. Then I'm like, no.
What is Durban?
There are other towns and
Places.
cities besides Durban in case I am from Pietermaritzburg.
Yes, okay.
So Joburg, I used to live here for 11 years.
Oh,
From 2010
yes,
to about 2021,
yes.
and then the work that got me to be invited here is actually what led me to go back home.
Oh, so what work are you doing at home? Let's hear that.
No, so I went through everything that I do now.
Sure.
Stems from a workplace situation that I faced in 2020.
That was concerning you personally?
Yes.
Oh, so it triggered something?
It triggered
I wanna
everything.
hear that.
Everything that when you were reading my profile about
Yeah.
recovery, sobriety, all that. Yes.
It
So
triggered all of that?
yes.
Maybe you want to talk about it or no?
Oh yeah, of course. It's
Yeah.
a big part of who I am. But
Okay.
before then, my background is in marketing and communications. So I studied it, worked in the
Went to school about it?
went everything, all the degrees and all that.
Oh, that's nice.
But it's also I love writing.
Yes.
I love putting together events.
Oh.
I organize very well. I organize
Okay.
people very well. I organize
That's good.
things very well. And
I've
I
seen
also,
you at book launches. That's how
Yes.
that's how you and I connected.
and
as well.
I
Yeah.
speak
Of course, you are a
very well
speaker.
also. So that's the work that I used to do
Okay.
on a professional level in corporates and all that until 2020 with COVID.
Yes.
There was they said a retrenchment at first,
Oh,
but you know when
at your workplace?
yes, at my
Okay.
workplace. And so Minage, I'm the type of person who speaks very openly about what they are going through.
Oh, okay.
So when I got the news that my role has been redundant or whatever, was the beginning of the month, at the end of the month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it that quick? Was it that quick?
So that interestingly,
That's interesting, yeah.
And so the first 2 days, I was, oh my gosh, this is so bad. How could this happen to me? I cried, whatever. And then I started telling people,
Okay.
that this is what has happened. I'm now no longer going to be.
I'm gonna leave my work. Okay.
Yabo. And I'm so grateful that I didn't hide what was happening or what had
Yes,
happened.
It was part of dealing with it, I guess.
Not really. For me, it was, guys, I don't have a job. What?
Oh,
how are you going to
okay.
help me? Ngangixoxela.
Okay.
But people who are like lawyers
Yes.
my friends were like, wait, that you just heard 2 days ago and they're saying at the end of the month, what process was taken?
Yes.
You know, so I didn't know. You hear people get retrenched, but I didn't know there was a whole process. Yes.
Definitely. Yeah.
So then my lawyer friends started telling me about, and I read the Labor Relations Act,
Yes.
and that's when I started to see, these guys didn't follow the right process.
Of course. Yeah.
Then I took it up.
Ah.
So it was a lot of back and forth with the organization,
Yes.
and in that part, I'm now working on a case.
Yes.
I'm not dealing with how this is really impacting me.
Working on you.
Yes. So I'm just focused on, we're going to the CCMA, we're doing these things, I'm reading.
It's a painful process.
A very painful process.
Yeah.
But I need to say I'm strong and I've got networks. I was
Sthembiso,
Sthembiso, so I know all these people. Yes, I want to prove I'm going to be fine.
Yeah.
And that's when I think about it now, that's actually when I started drinking more. Like, I was drinking.
Was the coping
Definitely
mechanism?
was.
Oh, okay.
For me, it was, this is so stressful putting together this case. I have a drink.
Wow.
And then now I'm also at home, so I'm like I'm not waiting until after work.
So alcohol is available. You are also available.
I'm also available. And then it started off with a few glasses of wine during the day. Then it was a bottle. Then it was 2 bottles. This is just by myself. Then it came to a point of I was drinking 3 bottles of wine a day.
Serious?
Yeah.
A day?
On my own.
And then you were going to get sick. Did it not happen?
Not immediately.
Well, not immediately.
Not immediately.
It was a process.
My reasoning was, and I always say this when I'm invited to speak, especially, to young people and all that is, I'm like, guys, if these liquor stores say they open at 9, obviously they are saying we must be drinking at 9. Why? Because I used to
Why must you wait until late?
Okay, let me wait until 12. And then I was like, no, man. Then they'll open at 12 if they want. They want us to drink in the morning. So
it means they know people can come and take and buy alcohol as early as 9 o'clock.
Exactly. So other work that I'm doing is around that. Utama legislation, change. But it took...
So how did it come out of that space? Because surely it didn't work for you, or did it work?
No, it didn't. It took 7 months for me to finally be honest about how I felt about everything, and the only reason...
And there was a better way. You thought there was a better way to cope.
Yeah. I just... like, you don't want people to pity you as well.
Yeah.
So mawuzoloku ukhuluma ngokuthi unjani and
oh
shame.
Feel sorry for you.
Yes, and I do a lot of work around that. You have to find 1 or 2 people.
Yes.
Or your therapist must be the person that you can speak to if you feel you don't want to burden people and you don't want the self-pity.
Yes.
But I just didn't use anyone until I had a blackout while driving on the N3.
In the car?
Yeah.
And you had taken alcohol?
No, I hadn't.
Oh, you hadn't? Okay.
I had driven from Joburg and I was going home to
you were
Maritzburg.
Exhausted.
And I remember driving, and like Tugela Plaza?
Yes, in Ebon.
I remember passing Tugela Plaza, paying at the toll gates. This is something about 7 ebusuku.
Yes.
And my brother phones me, how far are you? No, I've just passed Tugela Plaza. He's like, okay, you'll be home in about 2 hours. Yes. Yeah. The next thing, I don't know what happened. The next thing, Papama. Yeah, check out the clock in the car.
On the car.
It's like going for 10 o'clock. But I'm paying again at Tugela Plaza, the opposite direction.
The opposite direction? You're coming back?
I'm coming back.
When did you make a U-turn?
I don't know.
Wow.
To this day, I don't know. And then my brother phones again and he's like...
How far
Can't
are you?
Then I tell him what had happened and he's like, just go park at Montrose. So I
just
drove.
take a nap or
and
something.
No, he's like, we're coming,
to fetch you.
To fetch you. Then my dad and my brother, I drove to Montrose, parked the car, and then I took a nap then. And then Bafika, and they drove me back to Maritzburg.
With your car, of course.
With the car, yeah. And then the next day, I think that's when my family saw something is not right. My mother took me to our GP.
So you needed help.
And that's when I started I got a psychologist,
Yes.
Then
it was a recovery process.
Yeah.
So that is why mainly your work around workplace well-being, workplace health started.
It
so
started
it was a
there.
trigger
Yes.
because it was your own story.
It was my own story.
So,
That's where the authentic living part comes in. Wootsie. It's my
okay.
lived experience that I use.
So this is, you talk about something that you experience.
Yes.
But I just want to know, Uguti, how do you think, or maybe let's start there, why do organizations not place so much emphasis on workplace health before something like a retrenchment happen? Because most organizations I also work with will just say, we will deal with it. Maybe HR will deal with it if there's a complaint or a grievance. But proactively, why do you think they don't place priority on well-being or employee health broadly? Why?
I think there's this thing, Wootsie, we're at work to work.
You're here for a job.
You're here for the job, do your job, go home. Leave your it's like leave your problems at the door.
Wow.
But I think only now organizations are starting to see, Wootsie, you can't live like that. People can't just...
You come as a whole human being.
Yes. But I don't think before, that wasn't the case. It was, you're here to do your job. We're paying you for your job. We're not here.
Yeah.
And that's why other companies don't have like my wellness practitioners. Because it's, no, but then you must do that on the weekend in your own time.
Oh,
And to be honest, also about HR is not for the work people. It's not for the employees.
It's not for the employees.
And I don't know how we can get them to be.
Yeah.
Izol, I was laughing on X. I was reading something, and someone actually, and I was like, "Oh, I'm actually having this discussion tomorrow with Sthembiso." But someone had written, "Have you ever stood up for a colleague who was being bullied by your boss and HR?"
And HR.
Yes.
Okay.
So I responded, and I was like, "It actually happened to me, because, and it happened twice."
Twice. Okay.
So with the 2020 instance, it was, I took this up with my boss, because she's the one that broke the news to me.
Yes.
And then obviously she got HR involved.
But
HR also didn't give me an opportunity to say, okay, let's hear you out. Yes. Because now I'm telling them, like, this is how a retrenchment process works. I'm like, but you're HR.
But
you should
HR,
know.
You should know, yeah.
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 But interestingly, and I also said this in my tweets, Uguti, after hours, behind closed doors, you'll get personal messages, even from HR people, to say, I'm so sorry, I'm just doing my job, I have to do what the bosses say. But I'm like, no, your job is to stand up for people.
To stand up, exactly, and
protect people. So I think, to answer your question also, is we need the HR guys to really stand up for employee wellness. If they don't stand up...
Not just do transactional stuff.
Yes.
Payroll, training.
It's not only about that.
No, not that. Yeah. And yesterday I was doing a workshop at a different client. We were talking about coaching and also HR can't be everywhere. Do you really coach leaders to really care about their employees? And for this, just basic things, and asking, Anele, are you okay? What are you dealing with? How can I support you? Before it becomes a big issue. Because also, yes, HR should support employees, but they can't pick up signals everywhere.
But your boss can.
Your boss is close to you because he or she works with you on a daily basis. But if you are not trained or coached and even wired to look for those signals, is Anele depleted? Is Tay still okay? He's usually outspoken. Today he looks deflated. What's going on? Can I ask him without being too intrusive? Those kinds of things. Yes. We were talking about that. In fact, in my book, I do touch on that as well. But workplace bullying, let's touch on this very quickly, comes in very, very different forms. Because not a lot of my clients want to talk about it. Because they say, well, a manager is just putting pressure on me, asking me to work on weekends. Is it bullying or is it just abuse?
But bullying is abuse.
It is abuse, yes? Is that how you explain it? Tell us how you explain it.
So
how do I know as an employee that now this is unfair and it is bullying?
Yeah. I think, so I went through this 2 years ago.
Okay.
So 2020, I stopped working. 2021, I go back home because my life was just falling apart. And it was like, hey, maybe just go home. My parents are still alive. So it's like, the support. Because my sisters now were also, my sisters stay here. But I think it just became too much for them, So then I went home.
Okay.
And then I got another work opportunity, like a job
Yes.
opportunity in 2022. That also didn't work out. I was like,
Okay.
oh God. Then 2024, I got a work opportunity in Maritzburg.
Yes.
So I'm like, oh, okay, this can work
this
out.
guy's closer to home.
Yeah, it's closer to home. I can like start rebuilding myself slowly again in terms of the workspace.
The work, yeah.
And I knew the girl who was in the position before.
Oh, in that same company?
Yes, in the same
okay.
company. So when I had seen the adverts, I did ask her, how are you leaving? And she's like, yeah, I've got a better opportunity somewhere else in. So I was like, oh, okay. And then she wished me well. And then I got in. And this is where I noticed why a lot of people were leaving and how you can see bullying. So the person I was reporting to,
Yes.
he was like the CEO of the organization.
Yes.
The first day when I got there and he was introducing me to my
Was
team.
it like induction or what?
Yes, And the very first day, it was me and I have two people that will report to me, a girl and a guy.
Yeah.
He says to me and this girl that we need to wear makeup.
At work?
Every day.
Is this a manager saying that?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
We need to wear makeup. Because we are the face of because I was coming in as a marketing manager and this girl is marketing coordinator. And
so
we're
both
dealing,
of you must look different.
Yes, we are the face of the organization. We need to wear makeup.
That's
He even
interesting.
specifically said you must look like an air hostess.
Wow.
Yes. We must wear heels. This is a hospital, by the way.
Oh, it's a hospital. Okay.
So,
but you must wear heels.
But we must wear heels going up and down the hospital. Because we are also seeing patients. Okay. So I think I was just like, this is very strange,
Okay.
And I also felt it was a bit sexist because he's not saying that to the guy.
There was also a guy within the marketing
Yes.
team. Okay.
So I said to him and I was like, I saw how uncomfortable the girl got.
You were also uncomfortable.
I was also uncomfortable.
Okay.
But I said to him, I don't wear makeup.
Yes.
However, we will always be presentable.
Yeah, look presentable.
We'll always
look
look
presentable.
presentable.
Professional environment.
Yes.
Still.
But I was like, but there's no need for us to
Yes.
wear makeup.
I think you look okay.
Yes, thank you. Without it.
Yeah.
And so that was the first thing. So that's how subtle things that people say that are
So
abusive.
that was the culture. Was it an expectation?
I think it was the expectation.
But did you see it as bullying at that point?
No.
I just want to find out.
No. At that point, I did feel it's a bit sexist and a bit
But it was also
out of
uncomfortable.
line.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So that was the first instance. Same day, the other Manco members are there.
Mm-hmm.
He gets introduced to them. I get introduced to them. And that's when I saw, the culture like Kaya is toxic. So as soon as the others left, he starts talking ill about each person who was in the room.
Oh, after they had left?
After they had left.
Talking to you guys?
Yes. I'm new. This is my first day.
That is like crazy. Yeah.
But the things that he's saying, I'm just like, this is so
He was
strange.
basically gossiping about their
Yes.
colleagues. Oh, okay.
And that's part of bullying as
Yeah,
well.
of course. Okay.
But it didn't end there. Every day he would, and I started to think,
So it was a continuation.
I wonder how he speaks about me when I'm not
when
here.
you're not there, exactly.
Yeah.
But
But the other part is, so it's the way people speak to you
Yes.
is how you can see that you are being bullied.
Yes.
The way they speak about other people is how you can see a bullying and toxic culture.
Okay.
And also this guy used to, Muntu who screams at people that you can hear from the kitchen.
It's just
If he's upset with you, he's not going to sit down with you and be like, hey, your work
Is this the same manager or is it?
Same person.
Okay.
He will scream at you. He will throw his phone and your work at you. And I first just heard people tell these stories. Then I would see it when he's doing it to other people.
You began to experience it now.
Yes. So those are forms of bullying, is how a person just shuts you down. You never do well. You're never doing good.
Belittles you and
Belittles
makes
you.
you shrink.
Yes. The screaming. Because you can reprimand someone, but without being rude.
Of course, yeah.
And
you can correct behavior without being impersonal or
Exactly.
being rude or disrespectful.
Exactly. So he was very disrespectful. So I think people need to look out for those signs, how you are belittled, how you are spoken to,
Yes.
the tone of how someone speaks to you, the disrespect.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you just think someone can have a bad day.
But it can't be if it's continuation
Yes.
or continuous and it's regular and then something
And
is
it also happens to other people.
to other people, yeah.
So for me, I started noticing.
Okay.
And
how did you confront it? Let's find out. Did you confront it
I
or did
did.
it disappear?
No. Does it disappear?
Did you confront it?
I did. I confronted it because then it started happening to me.
Oh,
Like
as
2
well.
months. 2 months in. 2 months
Now,
in, and I'm just like
did he shout? Did he throw things at you, or did he just disrespect you?
the disrespect and the shouting.
Yes.
And it's the kind of person who will shout in front of people. So he doesn't care that there are 10 other people. He doesn't care that they're your subordinates.
Very insensitive.
Yes.
Ah, okay.
So the one time in a meeting also with everyone there, I actually did say, you are very disrespectful.
This is not right.
This is not how you speak to people. You can
Okay.
just tell us kahle if something is not
Yes,
working out,
yeah.
and we can see how.
In a normal way.
Yes. And if you
Yes.
still feel afterwards that we have not changed our behavior, then you can say, guys, I gave you a chance,
And escalate if you have to, or
Exactly.
reprimand then.
Exactly. And he never did. And even in that way, he started rolling his eyes. And I'm like,
Ah,
please look, even now, I'm trying to show
the
you.
way you are responding.
But the way you are responding. And he's like, well, I don't care. You can even take it up to the board members. And if you're going to go and rat on me and all that. I stood up and I
Aibo.
walked away. Then I was just like, no,
This is not it.
this is not it.
Did his behavior change after that?
No, it got worse.
Okay.
Then they started, so then what happened to me is they started even checking my socials.
Oh, almost stalking you.
They started stalking me.
Are they looking for stuff?
And the
What are
interesting
they-
thing is, I was already running the Tea with Andile Ndlovu, which is my mental health platform.
Oh, okay.
And I told them at the interview, this is what I
You
also
have
do.
something like this, yes.
And I said, I have conversations in the evening every Thursday. I do events once a quarter on a Saturday.
Yes.
It is not going to interfere with my work.
Yes.
And I also bring in people who help me do the work. It will not interfere with my work. Suddenly, everything I did was a problem. I would post a status, a video, a photo. Who takes my photos? Who takes my video? HR then, that's why I say somehow HR also has to come in and somehow be there. Because HR came in, they are the ones asking me, who takes your videos? Who takes your photos? When do you post your statuses?
Aibo.
So guys,
And
those
this-
things
and
are
your
forms
work
of
didn't
bullying.
clash with
It
this
didn't.
work. And there was no conflict with this
There was
work.
no, not at all.
Wow.
Not at all.
And then surely that must have made you uncomfortable as well. I mean, why are you looking at my private stuff?
Exactly.
Especially if it has nothing to do with the
And I
work.
had a work phone, and I even said, here's the work phone. There's
Yeah.
nothing personal. I didn't even
Okay.
have anyone's number from home or friends on my work phone.
Yes.
It was just a work phone. Everything else is on my
On
personal.
on a private thing.
Even on the laptop, I never did any
Yes.
like personal stuff
Yes.
because I wanted there to be that distinction,
Yes.
But when the culture and the people are already like
Yeah.
maybe toxic,
Yeah.
it kind of filters down to everything.
And you are, and as a new employee, you are an outlier because you're just trying to immerse yourself in this. Maybe the people that are there are used to this
Yes.
kind of culture.
Yeah.
And then I think this is the work that you're doing now, because to make people aware that these things happen and you can confront them in a normal way, and there are channels to do that.
Yes.
Is this what you are now doing, especially with your clients, I'm sure?
Yeah.
And also you speak about this because it's your personal journey and you've learned from it. And are you then showing people, once you pick up the signals, because culture is the behaviors we tolerate. Sometimes I always talk to my clients and say, if you're a leader, those behaviors you tolerate are busy creating a culture.
Yes.
And the outsider might see it awkward, but eventually it permeates. It becomes a way of life in the organization. How do you train your clients to basically, without being rebellious, but raise these issues in a proper, respectful way?
Without being rebellious.
Without being toxic yourself.
And people will always think you are rebelling.
Yes, you are rebelling.
You're
just raising, especially when you're open-minded and you are from the outside and you find these things and people don't like it sometimes. Yeah.
You know what I found?
Yeah.
And when I am speaking to people, whether it's a new client and things like that,
Yes.
I always say, I know you guys have your own policies and you have your own procedures and you have HR and your
Yes.
employee assistant programs. But I've also, and maybe you have that experience as well, is I always find when you bring in an outsider,
Yeah.
people tend to listen more.
Oh, okay.
So some of the
Someone
things
who's
that I
new to-
say are not new.
Okay.
They know them, the HR has tried to say them, but because they already know, when HR,
Yeah, but an independent person,
Yes.
they might listen.
They do listen, I've actually found.
They do listen.
So I've had clients where I've come in on a once, please just do this workshop or have a talk. And then from that, there's a client, they had interviewed me, like a similar conversation.
Is it? Like this, okay.
Yes. And it was just a once-off thing. They found me on LinkedIn.
Oh, they invited
They
you.
invited me. We did a recording with one of the ladies who work there. And then that recording was sent as part of the newsletter.
Oh, wow. Within the company.
Within the company. And then a few months after that, the same lady reaches out to me. She's like, people are still talking about our conversation.
Oh, wow.
Can you come in and do a series of workshops? So I ended up working with them for 2 years.
2 years. Wow, that's amazing.
Like every few months.
It must have been powerful, yeah.
So
maybe it's something they needed.
So that's the
at
thing,
time,
that they have the people there, but having someone else say it and someone who's not in the company help them actually to think about things a bit differently.
Yes.
You know, so with that company, we did a series of prioritizing your mental health.
Yes. Yeah.
That was the first workshop we did where we were, and I always bring in like a social worker or a psychologist and even a medical doctor when I do, because I'm like, I'm speaking mostly from a lived experience and I'm speaking as,
these are professionals.
but these are the professionals,
okay.
you know, so like you said earlier on, you will notice if Usthe is always bubbly and engaging, if he's suddenly withdrawn, depleted, there are the signs. So then we were trying to show them that, like in your personal life and how then you show up at work.
Yes.
Then the next one was prioritizing your mental health at work.
Yeah.
You know, would say at work, yes, you are coming there to work.
Because you spend most of your time there.
But you need to also speak to your boss. Like, let your boss know, "Kushoniwe kaya, my child is sick, so I might be a bit," you know, and I think...
Because we are all humans.
We're all humans.
And bosses will understand.
They will. They'll give you that leeway nyana, you know, or speak to your colleague and say, please, can you help me?
Yeah.
I'm struggling a bit. This is what's happening. You don't have to go into the detail.
Of course.
You know, so we went through that. And then we also did relationships and your mental health.
Yes.
Because whether it's romantic or as a parent, they also impact on your mental health, which impacts in your work.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we've done finances and your mental health.
Yes, it's all of that. It's all connected. In fact,
it's all connected.
I talk about it also in the book that on culture, that sometimes everything connects. You know, I talk about organizational systems, that organizations are systems, and then we come as humans and we interact with the system. So if something is haunting you from home or from your relationships, it's going to show up somehow.
Yeah.
But how do you educate managers to look for those signals? Because you and I were just saying HR can't be everywhere and HR can't be sensing everything that's going on. Have you done work where you coach leaders in terms of what to look for and what to do about it? Because you're not going to send everyone to HR. There are conversations that if Anele is reporting to Stay and Stay is picking up, hey, but this is not the Anele that I know. Maybe because also there's an issue of boundaries. Because people say, she's female, I'm male. If I ask too much, am I not intrusive?
Yeah.
How to draw boundaries, but at the same time wanting to check on the pulse of your people?
So what I usually recommend for managers and just as a team is the same way you have your monthly check-ins in terms of work.
Oh, okay.
I've said have a mental health check-ins.
Yes.
Where you guys, even if it's just 30 minutes as the team.
Just how are you?
Just how are you guys doing? You know, as a collective, so that everyone kind of has an understanding of where is everyone. And then if you do pick up that someone maybe was a bit quiet or a bit resistant to answer, have a separate session with them. And to say
and
that...
not always talk about KPIs and targets and deadlines.
No, and say that, saying, these days, you know, and also when we were having our check-in, you seemed...
I saw that you are low.
Yes.
Whatever you are low on, but we can see it.
Yes. And if you can tell me so I can see how I can help you. But if, like the whole male and female, maybe speak to a female colleague.
Someone else, yes.
But I feel, and I found that when we encourage that and we do that, people are more open to then share with one or two people in the team what is happening.
Yeah.
But it has to start with the managers as well. So I always say that as the manager, you have to drive it. You have to put in the calendars our mental health check-ins.
And it's part of your job. You know, I worked with sorry to interrupt you, I worked with another client in the mine, and the manager said, no, my job is to serve clients. People, talent issues, HR. I said, what do you mean? How many people report to you? He said, I think about 13.
Sure.
I said, can you still serve clients without those people? He said, what do you mean? I said,
Yeah.
I mean exactly that. Can you still serve your clients without that team being present? So, and again, a lot, especially managers in engineering fields or technical fields, they think I'm using my degree to solve a machine or a problem or a client issue. People issues, how do we re-engineer the mind of a manager that people issues are part and parcel of your job? It may not be in a job description, it may not be in a performance contract, but when you work with people, you perform through people.
But
How do we
the
change?
fact that you are a manager means you are managing people.
Perhaps, yeah.
You know, just like how you said,
Exactly.
I love that how are you going to serve your clients without the 13 people? Because if someone is dropping the ball, you'll
On
be
your
able,
own, you're not going to do it.
you're not going to be able to do it, you know. And when are you going to focus on why you should focus on they're dropping the ball with their work? What is causing that?
But what is causing it, yeah.
You
Because
know.
you're going to deal with symptoms a lot if you don't say that people are part and parcel of your situation.
And the CEO is not going to go to the person. They're going to come to you as the manager. What's happening with your team?
Yeah.
So I think if we start looking at things like that as the manager, I'm not only just managing people's work, I'm managing the people behind the work.
Behind it. Because if you protect, and I think I posted this on LinkedIn 2 weeks ago, if you protect results over people, you have misunderstood leadership. Because you get results through people.
Yes.
But if people feel like you are all about output, results, and not care about the well-being, the wellness, and the mental wellness of people, people are going to start shrinking and then they just withdraw. And by the way, they'll perform when you're there. When to not that they just do the bare minimum. And by the way, I was with this client, the Pretoria Izolo. When was it? 2 days ago. Then somebody said, I just do enough not to get in
fired.
trouble.
Yes.
Exactly. I just do enough not to get in trouble, and I do what I need to do. I go home. I care nothing about nothing else. And that culture is so prevalent in that organization. You can see people are just in their corner. Lack of collaboration, low engagement, low energy, and low excitement. And I'm just thinking that those cultures, that toxicity just vibrates and then it becomes cancerous.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering in the work that you do, how you create cultures where managers are excited about inspiring teams, supporting teams, and also guiding teams, as opposed to just looking at targets, KPIs. Do you do that type of work?
Do you know, because I think I've seen that also a lot more with all the experiences that I've been through now of, you know, workplace bullying and all that, and workplace abuse is abantu are promoted into management and leadership roles based on the technical skills.
Yes.
Like we said earlier.
Not on the human.
Not on leadership.
Not on leadership stuff, yes.
You know, so it's Use such a good accountant, he must lead this.
Yeah.
So Say is only he's good in accounting. So he's going to look only at the accounting part. But now you are managing people.
Suddenly he's got 5 people, 7 people reporting to him.
Yes. Yeah, now when I get to work, this is what I must do. Now you want him to manage people. So I think in organizations, and maybe that's where the coaches come in, would say when you've seen and it's time to promote people, let's also look at how do we work on their leadership capabilities.
And the people skills.
And the people skills, you know.
And in fact, you're right, because people do what gets measured. But even if you harness those people skills, are you going to measure them? Because if you measure only technical stuff, you promote people this side, and suddenly they've got a team, and as an accountant, I've never had a team before, I'm going to collapse. I don't have the skills.
Yes.
So we always say behavioral KPIs are critical as you climb in the organizational hierarchy, because your technical skills are not that important there at the top.
You've got people
They're
with
important,
the
yes. The lower tasks, KPIs, deadlines, those people are worried about that. When you're there, suddenly you've got a team of 15 people.
It's about the people.
It's about the people.
So, you know, with that, why I strongly feel like organizations should look into that. Would say, how are we helping with the people skills, the leadership skills?
Yes.
the same boss that where I saw, okay, this is bullying and all that.
Okay.
I was the fourth in two. He'd only been in the organization for 2 years.
2 years,
But
yeah.
in the 2 years that I'd been there, I was the fourth Manco member that was leaving.
Oh, wow. So
In
there
2
was like a
years.
big...
So for me, it was that.
Exit.
For me, it was like how you're saying, Uguti, look at the behavior and how
Yes.
the people management is. For me, it was, there's no way the board is not seeing that
It's
there's
a
a
big
problem
data
here.
point. But somebody's ignoring it.
They were ignoring it,
Yeah.
you know. And I went back and asked the girl before me, and I'm like, listen, this is what I am going through. Are you sure you just left because,
Wow.
you know? And she
So
was
there's
like,
a story behind it.
yes. And she
Yeah.
just said, you know what? I thought it was a me thing, and I didn't want to scare you because I thought maybe it was
okay.
I was the target.
Maybe, she thought you were going to have a different experience,
Yes.
perhaps.
Yes.
This is important because when you do exit interviews, and I talk to my clients about this as well, by the time you do an exit interview, it's a bit too late. Find out there are signals and signs while people are still here. Managers ignore them. Sometimes HR is not involved. People say, Anele is just going through stuff. She's going to turn around.
But ask her.
But exactly. No one is asking, you've been low energy for the past 2 weeks and what's going on? You're disengaging. So, and again, Anele is still performing. And by the way, most of the toxic employees are the ones that are high performers, but they break relationships. And no one talks about it because, she's a high performer. We don't want to upset her.
She'll
If
leave.
She will leave. Eventually, she will leave anyway. So I talk about performance punishment as well as that stuff, or stay interviews. Stay interviews means that I talk to Anele while she's here. What makes you still come here? What drives you? What motivates you to still want to be in this team? Because by the time at exit, she probably will tell you the things you want to hear because she might not want to burn her bridges. Because in the future, she might want to come back. So while she's here, she's got nothing to lose. She might be authentic about it. So how do you think managers, and not HR, managers need to be familiar and make it normal to talk about work while people are there? And so Anele, what is a deal breaker? So in other words, what would cause you to really leave us?
Yeah.
So that they know Uguti stay. Yeah, probably salary is not happy or this is not happy, promotions, but the deal breaker for him is this. And that you can only know through conversation and asking, as you say. Yeah?
But we don't want to have those conversations.
They are uncomfortable.
But I really feel like we've been saying is the people that we put in these management roles.
Oh yeah, it starts there.
It starts there. You know, it starts in the grooming of, we can see you are going to go to the next level. How do we, guys, get a coach. Get a coach for your people.
Just to prepare you.
Yes, because someone may be well-meaning, but they just don't know. They don't know how to start having those conversations. But if they have someone to guide them to say, you are now, promotions are coming up.
It's a bit different at the top.
It is different at the top. Because if you've never had that guidance and you've never had that coaching, you're not going to be able to, even if you start having the conversation, I might say something and then it maybe comes as an offense to you. And then it's a back and forth.
It's not going to land.
But if you know, would say, okay, I need to accept feedback in whatever way my team member is saying it. And as the manager, I need to take that, go and reflect on it, come back to them to say, saying Xwile, I didn't see it the way you saw it, but after some time, I even spoke to maybe HR or I spoke to my manager. But we don't have that training and guidance and coaching culture in a lot of the corporates.
Coaching. And people confuse coaching with training because coaching is continuous and it doesn't have to be from HR. And mentorship is also different. But a lot of the people that I work with and the clients, and they'll shy away from coaching. They'll say, oh no, we've been to training. But usually training is about the technical stuff and the KPIs. It's not about the humanizing the workplace and making sure that the leaders care. I said something at a different forum, and I said the future of leadership is kindness and care. Because at the top, if you focus on those things, harnessing the human energy within your teams, the technical stuff will be taken care of. But if you can inspire that your team to be the best version of themselves, you've done a big job as a manager. They will perform.
People will perform.
They'll perform.
You know, because I will come in and I've done, like I was saying, the workshops that I've done, and I will come in and I will do the training.
Okay.
I will say, let's look into your bullying policies. Do you have a sexual harassment policy?
Yes.
You know, or you don't? Okay, let's write one. Let's have ongoing conversations about this is what sexual harassment at work looks like. This is how you can report. Do you have reporting structures?
Yes.
Can people feel confident in coming to report sexual harassment or even bullying?
Yeah.
You know, I will, like you're saying, I will come in and I will help you do that. But that's not coaching.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah. It's just putting policies in place. And policies is just guardrails and guidelines. But you talk about psychological capital. So I talk about psychological capital, but does the environment allow people to speak up when they feel violated? So for me, that's a critical thing. You can write all you want, policies, guidelines, but if a stay working in that workshop feels violated, harassed, or treated unfairly, does the environment allow him? Because if he gets victimized once by speaking, he's not going to do it again.
And other people won't also do it again.
And people will copy, will say, oh no, that one was a victim, we're not going to do it. And it permeates. So I just think also managers need to create that environment, that it's okay to speak, even if we don't like what we're hearing or we don't agree with it, it's okay to share. How do you create that culture as a manager or as an organization where people are free to speak?
Yeah. Sure. I think it's the open discussions that you have with your team as the manager. It has to start there.
Has to.
You know? So, Mina, I what I used to do is, with all the people that I've managed, is we'll go, even if it's just these takeaway places, and the ice cream is R5
social.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
And, you know, we'll get into my car and we'll drive. We'll have our Monday meeting. You know, we'll have our meetings. Okay, we have a whiteboard. This is who's doing. Okay, how have we done? And then after that, or even at the end of the day, we'll go to wherever and we'll just sit and we'll order coffee or we'll order ice cream and we'll just connect.
Okay.
You know, and I knew people's wives' names. I knew this one is a single mom. I know that one lives with the granny. And I'll ask, how's Gogo doing now? How's so at school? That's how you create.
That creates connection.
Yes. It's the connection part of it.
Okay. And then people start opening up. Because I think, Anele, we are humans before we are professionals.
That's the thing.
And it's not the other way around. And when I talk to my clients about humanizing the workplace, I'm saying, can you just be human? And most of the leaders will say, you know, I do ask, how are you? But by the time a person replies, I'm down the hall and I'm rushing, I'm looking at my gadget, I'm rushing to a meeting. Is that really connection?
But that's why for me, it's important to, and it wasn't an every week or every month thing, just once in a while where we go out of the office.
And you're intentional about it.
And we're not even saying team building, now we must get money from HR or from my manager.
Basics.
It's a basic way I'll even pay for the 5 people.
Yeah.
But it's that people then knew that if they were going through something, they can come to me.
They'll start coming up.
They will start coming.
Like that. So you are saying that you have to, as a manager, you have to find opportunities where you really connect at a deeper human level with your teams outside. Doesn't have physically, could be outside of the office, but where you do not discuss work. You don't talk about work, you talk about life. How are you? How is your husband? How's your partner? How is the little one? What grade is he now doing? That's life.
Do you know?
And then you connect back to at that level.
Do you know with that, there's a girl who was in my team and she even started studying because I was like, just the company is paying for people, you know. So she first did a short course and the next thing she did a degree.
Wow.
And even after I had left, I think it was a year after I had left, she still had me as a reference.
Wow.
And I remember getting a call from another company
Where
that she was
applied.
applying to.
Yeah.
And I was even surprised. I was like, damn, I've been gone for a while, you know. But for me, it was
But that stuck with her. She still remembered.
She still remembered.
That's a legacy.
you know, but because I had created yes, I need you to do the work, but
There
also
was space for her to grow, develop, flourish.
the caring
The
and
caring.
the kindness that you spoke about.
Yes.
You know, even to
yes.
this day, now she's also having a
And
baby.
it doesn't take a lot.
And she even sent me a voice. She's like, oh,
Wow.
I'm having a baby.
So you still have a
We
relationship.
still have, it's been years, but we still have that. Because I created that while we were.
You created that connection.
And you know, I told you earlier, my
Yeah.
profile that someone
Yes,
wrote it for
someone
me.
wrote,
It's
yeah.
someone who used to be in my team 6 years ago.
Wow.
You know, but I was able to be like, because I still also check up. He had a baby then, and then he has
yeah.
another child now. So I'm even like, how are the randomly? How
It's
are the
those
kids?
connections that matter. And I just think if more and more managers can be more human and people feel safe to express themselves in the workplace.
People will,
If it's so rigid, it looks transactional. We are here to serve clients. We are here to chase targets. We are here to make money. Yes, that's important. But we are human as well. We feel, we experience, we get hurt, we get bullied, we get treated unfairly, and all of that goes somewhere. And bad energy can't be destroyed just by the fact that it's inside, it's working. Okay, I want us to turn our attention to this thing. You spoke about mental health, wellness. I also think that it's the individual responsibility to pick up the signals. I want you to touch on that now. As an employee of a company, how do I know when I'm about to fall apart, before I fall apart? Because sometimes the manager isn't going to pick it up.
no. So, you know, and I'm laughing because
Yes.
that's a very good question.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of the times we speak about the manager, HR.
Yes.
But when I do my talks and when I do these workshops,
Yes.
I say prioritizing your mental health
Yourself. Your
because
mental.
it's your mental health
Mm.
in the workplace or your mental health
Yes.
in the relationship or whatever it is. It's still your responsibility.
Yes.
Especially if you know your manager is not going to do anything. Especially
Exactly.
if you know HR.
And it's your life, because it's your life that gets affected.
Yes.
And I said the same thing at a workshop on Monday. I was speaking at another conference, and I said, your company will probably, if you drop dead today, they'll probably send flowers and ask, where do you send pension money? That's it. And they'll advertise
That's
the
it.
next week or next day, because you'll be gone.
You'll
But
be
your
gone.
family doesn't have another version of you sitting somewhere as a backup. If state drops dead today, there's another in the shelf that
No.
we pull out. Company will advertise. So, and I was saying, especially men, we pour our lives, it's all about our ego. It's all about the position I have. I'm an MD of this company. I hold a big office. We brag about those things. And we don't brag that I'm the best father my kids will ever have.
Yeah.
I'm the best uncle. We don't brag about that. I'm the people come to me from society for counsel, for
No, but you
for
guys
help.
don't see that as
You see,
a
now,
leadership
we
thing.
as men, we don't brag about those things. Suddenly, I fall over or I get sick, I have depression. They'll say, oh, Anele, please act. Stay is sick. Please act. And they'll just once a while call
How
a
are
wife and
you?
check, how is he doing? How is he? So I'm saying, you come first. So I think also as practitioners, we need to train employees that when you do feel depleted and your tank is on low, there are ways to check it and there are ways to fix yourself.
But before even that, like you said, before you get to that, so what I learned just with my own experience and then working with psychologists and,
Yes,
and
yes.
therapists and things like that is, and I always tell people this as well, is you know yourself, or you should at least know yourself.
Well, you should, yeah.
You know, and when I say you know yourself, and you know what, you know when you are on a high,
Yes,
you know when you have a lot of energy,
yes.
you know, but you also know when you don't have it.
You know when you don't have it. And when your tank is low, you know it.
So
it
for
could
me,
be emotional, it could be psychological, otherwise, but you know when you're not okay.
so for me, how I know, and everyone will have something different,
Sure.
is, and I when I look back at 2020, I already knew I was not okay because
Oh,
the
really?
signs were there, but I just wasn't honest, which is the
You
self-confrontation.
are not honest with yourself.
With myself.
The self-confrontation.
Yes, I wasn't honest with myself. So, Mina, I'm a big reader.
Oh, okay.
I run, I walk, I jog, I do those
And
things.
that time,
And
were you doing those things?
I am with people, I like
You like
sitting with
interactions.
people and interactions.
Yes.
And that's when I haven't read in a few days,
It's a
when I
signal.
haven't really woken up to go and walk or go and run, then now I'm able to be like, okay, it's been 2 or 3 days without running or walking.
Something is going
Not
on.
because of the weather, maybe it's raining or whatever.
Yeah.
And I haven't been reading what is happening.
Something is going on. Yeah.
Yes. Then I have to look at my environments. Is it something at home? Is it something with work? Am I feeling sick? Am I going to come down with the flu?
Yes.
You know, because I know myself.
Mm.
So even then, I go to
You could
church,
tell.
I read the Bible. I stopped doing all those things. I didn't want to be around people. I wasn't walking. I wasn't reading. I know those things were all happening, but I had not come to a place of being honest to say,
And accept that this is the place.
yes.
And it's not okay.
And okay. So now you have to look at yourself. Ukuthi, when I say maybe you do 3 podcast recordings a week, but if you keep postponing and you keep postponing and you're just like, oh no, I'm so
Suddenly,
busy. And not because you are really busy, but you just don't feel like it. You just feel, I'm just weighed down. I just don't feel.
Sure.
Then you need to look at what is happening.
It's a data point and it's a signal.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's how you can track something is not okay. And at that moment, what I also encourage people to do is you don't have to wait until you're going to be diagnosed with depression or
Too late,
anxiety to
yeah.
go to the psychologist. The minute you feel off, talk to someone and be like,
Yes.
hey, you know, I've been feeling like this.
That's
I'm not doing
therapy
this.
already.
That's therapy already.
Mm.
The other thing is because people don't want, especially men, you don't want people to know you're
No,
going
we
to
don't.
therapy.
We're always okay.
Call these guys. I always say they are toll-free
We as
numbers.
men, we're always okay.
In your little corner, you don't have to tell us that you called whatever these counseling
to
lines and
somebody.
just talk to someone. In that moment, they'll take you through whatever's happening with you. If, you know, so don't die.
Because by the time you've got depression, and I always say stress is okay because stress that is manageable is okay because it pushes you to try new things and it stretches you. But when it gets to depression, you are
When
sick.
it's ongoing.
When it's ongoing, it's not okay. And when it gets to depression, and you are sick, and to help you, it's gonna take time, and it's gonna take a lot of effort. Whoever is helping you.
Exactly.
So are you saying therefore self-awareness is important?
So important.
And self-awareness can be taught. It's something that I don't think you're born with it. You can learn to be more self-aware.
Absolutely.
And that's why when I do assessments, before I coach leaders, I do leadership assessments because I want to understand exactly at what phase of life are you and what are you grappling with right now? Because the things you're telling me, I always say, sometimes, you know, people come to us as practitioners and coaches, they tell us symptoms. They don't tell us the truth. And at that time, sometimes they don't trust us yet.
Of course.
So they will tell us things that, yeah, I've got these signals, but you can tell me what you think. But deep down, they know there's deeper issues.
Yeah.
So as the relationship builds, the trust builds. But just like when you go to your doctor, you tell them about the headache, which is a symptom of something else. I have headache, and then the doctor is going to ask you some questions.
Yes.
So what about that can we transfer to the workplace about what can leaders and managers start asking without being intrusive, without being disrespectful, without encroaching into a personal life of an individual? How can we teach leaders about the things they need to start asking for whether they're noticing something or not, but just to coach them around, just without being too personal, but you can start asking the right questions. Is there an opportunity for that?
I think there is, definitely.
Because although they're not remember, they're not psychologists, they're not clinical, they're just human beings. But I think they can acquire a skill. That is curiosity. That is, I can see the body language. This is not the Anele that I know. I need to find out what's going on.
Yeah.
And like you said earlier, when it gets too serious, then I can get a professional.
Yeah.
But it has to start in a less professional conversation, a less intrusive conversation.
with that, I think the non-work related conversations,
It will help.
they do help.
They do.
And maybe even if you're not going through it, as the leader, just say things like, maybe 2 years ago I went through this.
Yeah.
And not on one-on-one, in a team setting.
In a team. Okay.
Because when you start bringing the person alone, they will feel, ooh,
is it about me?
is it about me?
Okay. Okay.
Or what I also encourage managers to do is, there are a lot of like reading material
Yes.
and podcasts and things like that talk about health related matters, whether it's mental health or physical health. You guys have WhatsApp groups.
Yes.
Just share a link.
Yes.
Because then it will start to get whoever is going through something thinking,
yeah.
and then you can start the discussion from there. I read something. I
like
saw
that.
this. I think this can
like
help
that,
us as a team. What do you guys think? Then it's not intrusive. Lapo, it's you are showing that you are also thinking about your mental health and your mental wellness.
It's opening up and being human, also being vulnerable.
Yes.
And I like your idea of saying, tell your story first as a manager that, hey, I've gone through depression before, guys, it was bad. This is what happened. And then when you're vulnerable, because like I said in the previous conversation, if we put all our problems on a pile as human beings, and then somebody said, take the best one that you can have, eventually you end up with your own. Why? Because other problems are bigger than you think. So, but when you start sharing and you realize, I thought my situation was bad. Anele is going through this. So sharing, and again, when you start as a line manager or as a manager and you start being vulnerable, people realize, I'm not alone.
Exactly.
If Anele can go through that, and I can also share my story.
Absolutely. So for me, that's why 2021 August,
Yes.
I hosted, which is now the Tea with Andile Ndlovu. And that wasn't even a name that was supposed to stay. It was.
So it's a brand now.
It's now a brand, It was just, I had gone through all these things.
It's just sharing.
And then I wanted to have, and it was Maritzburg, so I didn't know about, I wasn't seeing anything that was happening for Women's Day. Then I was like, okay, I'm going to do a lunch.
Okay.
Just get women together. It was 2021. People had suffered, all lockdown and all that
time
things.
was difficult for everyone.
Yes. So then my sister-in-law was helping me put this thing together, and then we just said, okay, we don't want to call it high tea, but something around that. And then we just said,
so you were hosting.
I was hosting.
And anyone could come.
And anyone could come.
Okay.
Yeah. Initially it was for family and friends, and then they told people who told people, and then suddenly
it became a movement.
It became like there were 35 people at the first one,
Oh wow. Okay.
And at that event, I remember we went around the table and people were sharing
their personal stories.
And for me it was, what are you grateful for? That was the theme. It was attitude of gratitude.
I like it.
But when people stood up, that's when I was like, okay, there's something here, which has led to the work now, is people were standing up to say, I'm so grateful I'm still here because I lost my job, or my house was repossessed, or 2 people in our family died of COVID. But I'm, and I was admitted in a psychiatric hospital, things like that. Then I was like, no, man.
Wow. There were deeper stories.
There were deeper stories behind this gratitude. And then I told people my story about going through the retrenchments, going through the CCMA case, not agreeing because the company's like, no, we feel we did the right thing, whatever. And then the alcohol abuse and addiction, attempted suicide, because that's what I went through, being admitted in a psychiatric hospital. And the thing is, coming to the point of the vulnerability is, people always say, but you come from a good family. You guys live in the suburbs.
Wow.
And I'm like, it can happen to anyone.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
And you may look physically okay.
Yes.
By the way.
So that's why I share my story so much, because whenever I say, guys, I used to drink 3 bottles of wine, they're like, when? I'm like,
it doesn't look like you.
It doesn't look like you.
Yeah,
and
sometimes
I'm like,
we don't wear our problems on the face or on the clothes we wear, but they are working inside of us.
Yes.
And I always say, if you absorb energy and bad energy, and as an engineer, we used to learn this, that you can't destroy energy. You can transfer it from one form to another. Always remember that. And anger, frustration is energy. And that is why sometimes when somebody attacks you in the way they speak to you, they are transferring that bad energy on you. But if you deflect it or ignore it, it stays where?
Them with them.
Exactly. They get more angry because now you have not absorbed it, you have not dealt with it, you've deflected it by others saying, I'm not going to deal with it, but it works. It doesn't disappear yet.
Yeah.
It works with them. And that's why sometimes I was saying at a different conference, why are people, the road rage that I see in Midrand, why are people angry 6 o'clock in the morning?
Imagine.
Something about that person is working. I say, what kind of a home are you coming from? If you are so frustrated at 7,
that
6
early.
o'clock in the morning, it can't be something from somewhere suddenly. And again, it's issues they are carrying from their homes. That energy is there and they get triggered. Anele cuts in front of me. She
It's not
apologizes.
Anele's yeah.
It's not that, but it's a trigger. Something inside of me is busy working with me, and that was a trigger, and suddenly I burst or I react. So I like what you're saying when you say that people can start themselves. Who am I? Because we all have got patterns. You just made an example. If you used to go to the gym, I go to the gym 3-4 days a week. Suddenly I feel like, to a point, I'm not sick, but I don't feel like going anymore. It's already a data point. What's going on? Suddenly I've got every excuse not to wake up and go to the gym. It's a data point. But as humans, we say, we ignore it and we think, oh, it's just temporary. And what you went through was consistent over time. I like the idea of saying, let's go and talk. And somebody must. Do you guys rotate, or do you are you always the host, or how often do you have those tea parties, whatever you call it?
No, they are tea parties.
How often do you have
So
them?
at the beginning, I used to have them monthly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you've shifted, you've changed.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. Because then, if I can call it the scope, or...
Oh, okay.
So I was doing them in Maritzburg. And then Joburg people...
They latched on.
They were like, you never did these things when you lived in Joburg. And I'm like, guys, I wasn't going through what I went through, you know.
And there's time for everything.
And then I brought the tea parties to Joburg as well. For a good year, we did it every month.
That's nice.
And then after a while, we did it like every second month, every quarter. Because now it wasn't just those conversations. We're also doing lives every Thursday. Because I couldn't reach people. I could do the events, Maritzburg, Joburg. But these are ongoing conversations. So every Thursday then...
Are there different topics, maybe themes?
Yeah, but everything is around mental health.
It's about mental health, of course, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So everything is centered around mental health. And then in those conversations, I'll speak to professionals, your psychiatrists, your psychologists, but also people with lived experience.
Yes, storytelling is powerful.
Yes.
People connect better with someone who's gone through something.
Absolutely.
And not theorizing or saying the theory says this. And that's why I invited you to this meeting, because I know you've lived some of this, and you're telling stories that the experiences that you've had. Before we close, I want you to use this camera and talk to someone really that has gone through similar situations. They ignored themselves, they ignored their well-being, they ignored their mental health, especially at the workplace. And then they are on a brink of collapse, of just falling apart. And this is someone who's saying, I've tried everything, but I'm still here, but I'm still hurting. Someone who's got a line manager, maybe that is ignorant, that doesn't listen, that says, you are here to do a job, just do your job. I want you to talk to someone who's basically saying, I'm just waiting for a small crack in the door, I'm gone. But while they are still here, they are busy hurting. And something inside of them is eating them up. What do they do? What promise and what hope do they have? Use that camera there and talk to somebody.
Okay. So I think I'll go back to what we said earlier, that it's your mental health. So you need to do you at this point. Your family might love you, your friends might love you, but they can't do the healing work for you. So even your job, your manager's not going to understand. They're still going to want you to perform. And especially if you're still there and there's no other opportunity, you need to still show up. Broken as you are, you still need to show up. So I would say get help, like counseling and psychological help. And there's this myth that mental health or medical care or healthcare is expensive. Yes, we know you might not have medical aid, but there are many organizations that give free counseling services with professionals. Like there are psychologists who have trained, there are therapists, there are counselors who are trained. So just because it's an NGO or something doesn't mean the service you're going to receive is not par to a private therapist or psychologist. Go to those. If you know you don't have the money to pay for a private psychologist, call those toll-free numbers. The people who are on the other side waiting to take your call are trained. You know, find out what are the things that you like doing. And I always encourage people to do this. What do you like doing? And try and do that thing at least once a week. You know, if you like baking, bake once a week. If you like cooking, cook once a week. If you like writing music or painting or writing poetry, do that as often as you can. If you can do it daily, do it daily. Because then that starts shifting your focus from I'm facing this issue into, oh, when I get home, I get to spend an hour doing something I love. You know, but the help, especially if you're at breaking points, getting the psychological help. And some of you, just like me, might have to go on medication. Please take the medication until your doctor says, we're going to take you off the medication.
You're okay now.
Yes, but you really need to get the help, and there is help out there. Last week, I attended a talk, and it was around mental health in the communities. And I heard something that I haven't heard in all this time that I've been working in this space, which might help someone, is you can actually call an ambulance for an anxiety attack.
Wow.
I didn't know that also.
I didn't know that either.
Yes. You can call an ambulance if you feel a panic attack or you're feeling too depressed or something. You can call an ambulance. At the ER, you can get help for your anxiety attack.
Wow.
Yes. Wow. Whether it's, I know public sector is not so great, but you're also able to get assistance in the public. At a hospital, if you go to the ER and say, I feel like I'm having a panic attack, the nurses and doctors can help you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this. Guys, I know you're following our channel. I haven't even touched half of what I wanted to discuss with Anele. I know she's going to be back because whether we record in Pietermaritzburg, Durban or Joburg, because mental health and workplace health or well-being is important, is close to me. The work that I do with my clients, it always comes up because the work environment is not suitable for everyone. We find ourselves as employees, as managers, as leaders in different set of circumstances where we're grappling with someone who's literally falling apart. Please check us out next time because in the next episode, I'm going to bring a psychologist. I'm going to have a clinical psychologist. I'm going to have a social worker. I'm going to have her back so that we can explore this topic one more time. My friend, this is great.
Thank you.
I like it. Finally it happened. Thank you, guys. Check you next time.